Today we're going to show the ESS installation on this 2019 Chevy Colorado. What we have in the kit for the ESS harness is the ESS main harness, a parts bag with some zip ties and other things to tie down your vehicle receiver, and also the manual on how to install it. This truck, the battery is on the driver's side, so we are going to start on that side and connect your power and ground wires. On this specific vehicle, they're asking us to ground right on the front side of the radiator mount. There is a sticker that says ground. You want to route your harness so it is not in the way of anything that is moving or could get pinched or cut. For inside the engine compartment, you want to find a flat spot that you can Velcro the ESS vehicle receiver. So we'll unbox the vehicle receiver. Dielectric grease is supplied with every kit, so make sure all connections are greased. Lock the tab. Find a good spot to route the receiver and mount it down with either zip ties or Velcro. Right next to the battery on this 2019 Chevy Colorado, there's a little space towards the bottom, nice and flat, where we can mount the ESS vehicle receiver. We used Velcro to fasten it down to the plastic base, and it holds tight. As we get into the harness, you're going to see a few wires. These wires are all in here for multiple purposes. We have two longer wires. You have your yellow and you have your gray. And the actual wire itself is labeled on the wire for right and left turn. So you can route your wires over to the correct sides. The one that's on the side that you routed it to, you'll cut to length. You have some other wires in here that are going to come to the same side that you routed the wire on, which will be your brown wire, which will be your run lights. You also have your red with the white trace. This is going to be for DRLs, so daytime running lights. And then we have two other wires here. These two wires are utilized for your high beam source and your low beam source. So these two are not used on this specific vehicle because we do not have a vehicle interface module. Some vehicles have a module on them that we can tap into, and then we can utilize the vehicle system to function the lights. But on this vehicle, it does not offer that option, so we are actually using our handheld to turn high beams and low beams off. So these two wires will not be used. You will remove these two wires by just cutting them off right at the harness. Now we can also trim down the yellow wire, or the driver's side blinker wire, because it is on the side that the harness is run. So we can trim that down to the same length as your brown and your red with the white trace. If this was on the opposite side, if your battery was on the passenger side of your vehicle, the same thing would happen. You would just trim down the gray wire instead of the yellow wire. We will now get behind the headlights, and we need to determine where our run light is, so your park run light source. We also need to determine the blinker wire source, and we need to determine what the daytime running light source wire is on the factory harness to the headlights. We will be tapping these wires into the factory harness to get that signal out to the vehicle receiver. So as you can see on the vehicle, the run lights are on both sides. So we're going to use a test light to determine where the source wire is for your run light circuit on the vehicle harness. So we're using a test light to do this. We get power. So now we've determined where our run light is, and we will tap our brown wire on the driver's side, because that's the side we routed our ESS main harness, to that source wire on the factory harness. Now we're going to determine where our blinker source wire is on the vehicle. So you can see down here that the blinker is on the vehicle. The key has been turned to the accessory position. We're going to use the same test light, same operation that we used for the run light. And you see the blinking light on the test light. We've determined this is our blinker source wire. So now we will tap on the driver's side the yellow wire into it, and we will then do the same thing on the passenger side, but tap the gray wire to the passenger side. The red with the white stripe wire is no longer needed in this harness, so it can also be removed just like the other two wires we removed earlier. So we cut that one out because as the marker lights turn on the vehicle, it will sense that on the plow lights and turn your plow lights on for your daytime running lights. I've now routed the passenger side blinker source wire down to the factory harness and tapped it in. I have loomed the harness and ran it across the top of the radiator. Brackets all hold it down real nicely, and it came across to the rest of the main harness, all zip tied in place, vehicle receiver down, mounted in place. So the last thing we need to do now is route the rest of our main harness, determine how we're going to route this wire down to the front bumper, because this will be the only harness coming out of the front bumper for your lights and your control. On your ESS main harness, just at the bumper, there is a 4-pin connector. Now we'll be plugging the main harness into the 4-pin wired Pro Control 2 Plus harness that runs through your engine compartment to your vehicle cab. You'll tuck that into the grill or into the bumper out of the way. So now the only two harnesses shown at the front of the truck are your main power harness and your ESS main harness connection. Dielectric grease everything once again and place the protective caps, tie everything in place